Second, I got two messages. You're good?
Recording in progress.
Good morning and welcome to our Weber County Board of Commissioner meeting on this Tuesday, April the 16th. We have a full quorum with Commissioner Bolos seated to my immediate right, Commissioner Gage Froor seated to my left. I'm Commissioner Harvey and we're glad you've chosen to be here today, both in person, online, and for those of you who might be viewing at a later time. Our Pledge of Allegiance today will be given by our Assistant CPR Director, that's Culture, Parks, and Recreation, not those who need a thump on the heart, Todd Ferrario. Our invocation this morning will be given by Bill Ross, and our thought of the day will be given by Commissioner Froor.
Our dear Heavenly Father, as we come before Thee today at this commission meeting, we come with grateful hearts for this beautiful county and country that we live in. We're indeed very grateful for the moisture we've received and for the needs which Thou hast provided us with, that we can sustain our farmers and our community here with those resources. We pray that with the weather that we will not have much flooding and that things will go well as we go through this spring, and that all things will be in good working order. We are grateful for all those that serve in this great county, our law enforcement and first responders, and pray that Thou will continue to bless them and keep them safe as they serve us here. We pray also for the commissioners that as they meet today that they'll be guided in wisdom as they conduct business in behalf of the county here and us citizens that are benefit of the things that are happening here. We do love Thee very much. We're grateful for all the many blessings Thou given us and pray for Thy blessings to be with us in all that we do in this county and those that work and serve here, and do so in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Commissioner Froor.
Well, thank you. So, Commissioners, I thought last week was a fairly significant week. Not that we have weeks that aren't significant in the county, but fairly significant since we had some out-of-state and out-of-country visitors. And we also celebrated the 30-year anniversary of one of your prime assets in your portfolio, the ice sheet. And it was great to recap some of those memories. But so we started off the week with that recap, and we had some Team USA, Utah Olympic people come, along with some IOC members to inspect and look at our ice sheet for possible having an Olympic venue there in the future, 10 years from right now, for curling. And we met with a gentleman out of Scotland that's actually the Federation president. He was quite impressed with our facility, along with his staff member as well. But it was, I think, a proud moment for all of us to show the ice sheet, the condition, and really what we stressed to the IOC and the Utah Olympic Committee is that facility has been well used for over 30 years. Used basically 20 hours a week from 3 to 4-year-old skaters up to 80-year-old skaters, maybe older. So it's used by all community members in a lot of different events, from ice skating, hockey, curling. So I think that's just an event that we show, or an asset we show for Weber County, that continues to show that Weber County is very cognizant of the fact that we provide excellent recreation opportunities for our citizens. The next event that Commissioner Bolos and I were happy to attend, unfortunately you had another commitment, was we previewed Snow Basin, the site of the 2002 Downhill and Super G, with some additional members of the IOC. a lot of people from Europe. And I was informed that part of the group we met with, I didn't realize this, was part of the group from ILC concentrated on summer games and others concentrated on winter games. So we had a combination of the people there. We had people from France, all over Europe. Interesting IOC member I had a chance to talk with from Afghanistan, which was quite unusual. But they continued to stress that as we rode to the top of the John Paul lift and look at the backside of Mount Ogden, you could see the look in their face of the awe of that great venue, and I think Commissioner Bolos would second that, and I see it quite a bit. But just to see those people up there that haven't seen that before, maybe it's been 20 years, 22 years since they've seen it, really brought back the significance of what we have to offer here for our venues, for Olympic venues. But just as important as our physical asset, the ski runs, etc., was what they stressed was the generosity, the welcoming attitude that Utahns, Weber County has for our out-of-state guests. And I think we made that pretty clear when we made some opening remarks there to that group, that we welcomed you here in 2002, and we're going to welcome you in 2034. And we left that with a pretty good feeling, actually a commitment from the Utah Olympic Committee that Snow Basin would be the site of all the alpine events for the 2034 Olympics. Now, we're still 10 years away, but that's a pretty good commitment to have. But I just want to thank you two for being involved with that. I think it's, again, sometimes the public doesn't understand the process that goes through for this Olympics. I think we understand that this is going to be another showcase for Utah, for Weber County, and we're going to see probably some substantial growth. People will become interested in locating here from outside the state. So we're very proud to showcase our assets. And it was great to hear the positive comments from everybody that was involved with those two delegations. That's my comment.
Thank you, Commissioner Frohr. Aside from, those visits were positive. They felt good when not the unsaid, but it felt good when they were here. And I'm going to take just a little point of privilege.
Hey, you're the chair.
But there was a lot of pioneering work that went into even 2002, and I'm proud to say my grandfather was on the first Olympic committee, the first Utah Olympic Committee.
Really?
Back in 1964.
I didn't know that.
When they tried to get a upcoming Olympic game, and it took, another 40 years for that to happen nearly, but it's wonderful, and it just continues to perpetuate because of the people and everything here. Wonderful. Well, Commissioners, now we're going to move on to item number E on our agenda. Thanks for those remarks, Commissioner Frohr.
You're welcome.
E, this is the time for the general public to comment on items pertaining to our agenda. Are there any in the audience that would like to make that comment? Any online, Stacy? Thank you. Then I'll move on to the consent items. I'll read those for record. This is consent items listed as under, like F, a Foxtrot. Number 1 is a request for approval of warrants 101,573 through and including 101,609, and 483,441 through and including 483,571, and 351 and 352 in the amount of $1,522,337.95. Item 2 is a request for approval of purchase orders in the amount of $135,520.06, and item 3 is a summary of warrants and purchase orders. We'll go to Mr. Lynn Taylor from the Clerk Auditor's Office to give us an explanation on those.
Thank you, Commissioner. For the past week, we had 170 warrants totaling just over 1.5 million. Largest of these, 41% or 625,000, went to the transfer station for disposal fees, equipment maintenance, and building maintenance. 15% or 225,000 went to Weber Human Services contributions. 8% or 119,000 went to Ogden Weber Convention Visitors Bureau. And 17 purchase orders totaling $135,000, and the largest of these, 26% or $35,000 to the library for a theater lighting upgrade, books, and paper supplies. 24% or $32,000 to the CJC for the iRecord system. 23% or just under $31,000 to the Weber Morgan Health Department for vaccines. 16% or $21,000 to the transfer station, which included a tarp system for the semi-trailer and diesel fuel, and finally 7% or just under $10,000 to IT for laptops and related supplies.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Appreciate that. Commissioners, any questions regarding any of those or any of the others that maybe were mentioned or not mentioned on those? If not, we'll continue to move on with that. We're going to move on to item number 4, which is a request for approval of the ACH Payments Design Bank in the amount of $278,244.14. Item 5 is a request for approval of the minutes for the meeting held on April 9th, 2024. Item 6, request for approval of the new business licenses. And item 7, a request for the Weber Morgan Health Department for approval to surplus a 2008 Dodge Magnum. Item 8, request for Weber County Transfer Station for approval to surplus a Sharp MX6 465N copier printer to donate to Weber Housing Authority. Item 9 is a request for approval of right-of-way contract by between Weber County and Shirley, Allen, and Neil Clark to purchase right-of-way along 2550 South or corridor preservation. Item 10 is a request for approval of the contract by between Weber County Miss Rodeo Ogden Queen Contest Committee to hold the Miss Rodeo Utah competition at the Golden Spike Event Center. Item 11 is a request for approval of the contract by between Weber County and Winco Fireworks Utah LLC to hold the Winco Fireworks Blast-Off at the Golden Spike Event Center. Item 12 is a request for approval of the contract by and between Weber County and Utah State University Extension to hold the USU 4-H Weber County Livestock Showmanship Show at the Golden Spike Event Center. Item 12, a request for approval of a contract by and between Weber County and Utah State University Extension to hold the USU 4-H Weber County Livestock Showmanship. I've mentioned that one, sorry. Item 13, a request for approval of retirement agreement by and between Weber County and Nanette Rogers. Item 14 is a request for Weber County Tax Review Committee for reimbursement in the amount of $9,020.30 to Jordan R. DeJunker, parcel 19,377 and 14. Item 15 is a request for Weber County Tax Review Committee for approval of a refund in the amount of $695.97 to Justin Johnson and Susie Goodenow, parcel 22, 243 and 8. Item 16 is a request for approval of a contract by between Weber County and E-Recording Partners Network to allow EPN to digitally record documents between Weber County and their clients. Commissioners, questions on any of the items? Item F. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Move to approve consent items F1 through 16.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. I'll pass that motion for vote or place that for vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries unanimously. Item number G on our agenda this morning, Commissioners. G1 is a request for approval of a resolution 26-2027. The County Commissioners of Weber County approving the opening of a brokerage account with Raymond James Financial, Inc. Mr. John Bond. Mr. Bond, welcome.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thanks for letting me come back. We reviewed a little bit of this information last week, and that a request has come in for a donation to the Egyptian Theater, and we need to set up an account. We've done preliminary work with Raymond James to have that account set up. Last week we talked to the clerk auditor, myself, we both recommended that be the case. We look for your recommendation. Last week you asked our wonderful Chris Crockett to prepare a resolution, and he's since done that. It's hopefully before you. So I ask your consideration in approving that so we can move forward if you'd like.
Commissioners, questions for Mr. Bond regarding this? This is a hard thing. I mean, it's laborious, at least. I appreciate you doing that.
Sure.
If there's no questions, Commissioners, I'll entertain a motion.
Move
Well,
to,
I had a series of questions, but I think I'll pass.
Okay?
I'll move to approve resolution 26-2020,
Second.
26,
24.
I think it's 2024, isn't it? It's listed as 27, make that note, 20 and 24. Okay, got it?
Should be 24.
Should be. Okay,
27, I won't be here.
yeah. I'll place that motion for vote. Mr. Brandt?
Roll call vote for Resolution 26-2024. Commissioner Faur?
Aye.
Commissioner Bolos?
Aye.
Chair Harvey?
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 2
Thank
is
you.
a request for, item number 2 is a request for approval of a resolution by and between, it's toward Resolution 27-2027 of the County Commissioners of Weber County, appointing the trustee to the governing board of the Little Mountain Service Area.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Ms. Stacy Skeen, thank you for joining us this
Yes,
morning.
thank you. I received a notice from the Little Mountain Service Area District that they have expanded their board from 5 members to 7 members. And I posted according to state statute for those vacancies. I received 3 applications. There are 2 positions. All 3 are qualified to serve. And just looking for your recommendations on those 2 remaining positions. They would both expire December 31st of 2028.
We have 3 wonderful candidates here. Both have experience in a variety of different areas there. And so, wonderful. We've got, again, those candidates will you read those? You've got Cammie Marriott. You've got Patrick Burns. And you've got Joseph Giordano, Joe Giordano. Well, that's who, Joe Giordano. He's a fine guy out there. He knows the land as well as anyone out there. That's good. So, boy, that's really good. So, commissioners, any thought about that?
I'm happy to make a motion when you're ready, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Well, I would agree with your remarks. We've got 3 people here that, and I actually sit on that board, and I think we look for people that contribute knowledge and expertise in different fields, which we have on there. And the LMSA board was originally set up, just a reminder, for the facilities out there at Little Mountain, primarily Westinghouse, and we've expanded that a little bit over the past 2 or 3 years. And so we're looking, that's, I think, the reason for expansion of this board is, as we're expanding potential service out there, we want that expertise.
It's just potential service, correct?
Potential service, yeah, when we do have a facility out there, we have the lagoon system right now, but we do have a state grant in place that will kick in hopefully this year for expansion of that and improvement to infrastructure. And obviously, that's where a lot of growth in Weber County will take place over the next number of years, so.
I concur with that.
So with that, I would make the motion, Mr. Chair, that we appoint Cammie Marriott along with Joseph Giordano as the 2 additional board members to the LMSA board.
Tough decision, but fine choices.
Make a second.
We have a second on that resolution. I'm going to place that resolution, if there's no more comment, for vote. Mr. Brandt?
Roll call vote for Resolution 27-2024. Commissioner Faur?
Aye.
Chair, Commissioner Bolos?
Aye.
Chair Harvey?
Aye. Motion
Thank you.
carries. Thank you. Thank you for working on that sound also. Mr. Ferrario, thank you for coming towards the lectern now as we have a request from the Weber County Tourism Tax Advisory, or the TTAB Board, for the 2024 legacy grants. Go ahead, please, sir.
We have 9 grants that we would like to award. They total $38,500. I think there's a few notables that I'd like to bring up. The Interlude Show, which is a $5,000 award. That is a new show that is very much like Outdoor Retailers, that is in our area, that really has some good expansion and growth, and I think it'll perpetuate. We have Triple Crown, which we're in the last year of a contract with Triple Crown, and we are negotiating in next week for a 3 to 5 year extension with Triple Crown, which is a great EI for the county, and it involves a lot of the surrounding cities, so it's really the whole county. And the last piece is, you'll notice that a lot of our venues in Culture, Parks, and Recreation have events listed on this. So if there are no questions specific to an event, we're asking for the approval of $38,500. A little bit of this was carryover from last year, just so you're aware. That was not all spent, so we rolled it into this year. So.
Commissioners, questions for Mr. Ferrario regarding TTAB?
None from me.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion then.
Move to approve the request from Weaver County Tourism Tax Advisory Board for approval of the 2024 TTAB Legacy Grants as presented by Mr. Ferrario.
We have a
Second that.
motion and a second, thank you. Place that motion for vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries, thank you.
Thank you,
Item
Commissioner.
number 4, thank you. Item number 4, Mr. Ross, if you'll make your way forward, is a request for approval of the first reading of the fee ordinance amendments relating to the solid waste fees at the Weaver County Transfer Station.
All right, as mentioned, this is the first reading of that fee amendment noted on Exhibit A that you have before you. This ordinance changes the minimum fee for green waste at the Weaver County Transfer Station from $10 to $12. This change should have taken place with the approval of ordinance 2023-03 in February of 2023, which increased the general waste and construction demolition tipping fees, and the minimum fees for each of these categories from $10 to $12. The green waste tipping fee did not change at that time, and therefore the green waste minimum fee was inadvertently left at $10 when it should have been changed to $12 to match the other minimum fees. So, pretty self-explanatory.
Okay, we got that. And that you did cover that with us in multiple work sessions, and also with the committee, with the WACOG too, so all that has been approved. Thank you for that work behind the scenes, Mr. Ross, appreciate it. This is in your portfolio, Commissioner Faur. Any comments or questions?
Well, the first comment that I'm happy to make a motion is, I just want to thank Sean and Bill. They put in a substantial amount of time in the transfer station, along with the great folks that work out there. Everybody I talk to comes away with a good experience at the transfer station, and Bill and Sean have a great deal to do with that. And this is just we should have actually caught this back in February, and we didn't.
Yep, we
And
did.
basically puts us in congruence with a lot of our other counties and what we talked about in the cities, again, as you said, in WACOG. So just to catch up, and I would move to approve the first reading of the ordinance amendments related to solid waste at Weaver County Transfer Station.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. I'll place that motion for vote, all in favor.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you very much. We're gonna now have, let me tell you what, Commissioners. I was kinda hoping to see both of you come up. Katie? No, it's okay. Duncan and a lot of our crew are out of town in some great conferences and training. Gabby's here with us today from the Golden Spike Event Center, making her inaugural presentation here to us regarding a few things. So let me take this step by step. Gabby, what I'm going to ask you to do is present both of these contracts, item 5 and 6, but we'll vote on them independently, okay?
Okay.
Item 5 is a request for approval of a contract by and between Weber County and the Wasatch Pony Club to hold the Golden Spike Horse Trials at the Golden Spike Event Center. And item 6 is a request for approval of a contract by and between Weber County and Enol Chavez to hold the 2024 matched races at the Golden Spike Event Center. Now we're being joined by Katie.
I'm doing the match race one, so,
Okay. Oh, I see how that worked. Gabby,
Yeah.
you go first.
okay. Okay, so, mine is for the Wasatch Pony Club Golden Spike Horse Trials. This group holds 3 events a year on our cross-country course, with the Golden Spike Horse Trials being their biggest event. And we're gonna give them a $1,000 sponsorship that will just be deducted from the rental of the cross-country course. And this sponsorship is reduced from what we've done in previous years. So,
quite a substantial sponsorship, but a deduction of what it was in the past, which is more moving towards the right direction, in my opinion. But it's fair, more fair. Pony Club and the folks surrounding that have done a wonderful job erecting and maintaining a lot of the jumps out there for those equestrian events, commissioners, and so this is getting more in line with where it needs to be, but they do occupy quite a lot of acreage out there, as you know. Katie, what do you got to say?
I'll talk more into the mic here.
Thank
You're welcome. I am doing the contract for matched races, so we're just looking for an approval. This is the same agreement you guys have seen in the past. We're just discounting some ancillary equipment like panels, tables, and chairs.
And you're doing that because of why?
They have a sponsorship agreement, same kind of as Gabby, but we make that money back with the food and beverage. The amount of money they bring in alcohol sales is insane, as well as concessions. We're really busy, so we make that money back. So it works out, keeping them happy.
Pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
Commissioners, any questions for either of these two young ladies today?
Very well explained.
No?
Great, well, let's go for the first one. Commissioners, I'll entertain a motion for item number 5.
Move to approve the contract by and between Weaver County and Wasatch Pony Club to hold the Golden Spike Horse Trials event at the Golden Spike Event Center as presented.
We have a motion?
Second.
Place that motion for vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Well, now Gabby, you're off the hook. Katie, we've got a little more, well, never mind. Okay.
Well,
I'll
thank
entertain
you.
a motion for item 6.
Thanks.
Hold on, Katie, you're not quite done.
Move to approve contract by and between Weaver County and Noel Chavez to hold the June 2024 matched races at the Golden Spike Event Center as presented.
We have a motion,
Second.
and we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, item number 7, we'll see Mr. Ferrario regarding the request for approval of a contract by and between Weber County and the Utah Festival Opera Company, of which Mr. Ferrario, being Italian, has quite a bit of experience with opera. It's very good to hold a temporary use of the scenery for the production of Aida at the Perry's Egyptian Theater. Mr. Ferrario.
I love the Dawn voice you have going.
Yeah.
You don't want to hear my opera. It's not even good in the shower.
Yeah, it's,
This is a cooperative effort that you'll see through the theater companies throughout the state. Props are expensive to build. And so a lot of these will get reused and retooled for different events at different theaters. They allow us to repaint and change things appropriate for our event. So Parks and Rec will go down and pick this stuff up. I actually go up to Logan to pick this stuff up. We'll bring it down. Weaver School District is actually going to let us store it there because they need it out of their building for productions in May. And then we will use this for 2 productions, and then it will be returned to them. So this is a rental on some equipment, and again, you'll see that with Centerpoint and other theaters that they're tens of thousands of dollars to even begin building these props. So it's a good way to save money and do some excellent productions.
wonderful use of sharing between a variety of different agencies. Something that doesn't happen in all governments, but it certainly happens here. We appreciate that. Comments or questions for Mr. Ferrario regarding item number 7? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I would move for approval of the contract by and between Weber County and the Utah Festival Opera Company for the temporary use of scenery for production of Aida at Perry's Egyptian Theater.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to place that motion for vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Ferrario. Mr. Tolman, if you make your way up to the front, please. A request for approval of a contract by and between Weber County and the U.S. Department of Agriculture Natural Resource Conservation Service to accept additional funds from the NRCS to fund a rehabilitation plan for the Utah Dam. That's that dam up there by North Fork Park and the little camp up there.
Correct. It is up there in the North Fork of the Ogden River. There's a dam up there that's been there for a long time. It's reached its age of service, and so this agreement is to receive funds from the NRCS to have that dam studied and a new plan come up with for that, the function of that dam. It holds back water as it runs off the backside of Ben Lomond and slows it down as it enters the North Fork to kind of help meter out those flows so we don't have flooding. So this, we got an original grant back in 2022. As we put out the project for an RFP, we needed more money, and this agreement is to receive more money from the NRCS. So we just need to agree to that, and that's what's proposed here, is that we agree to that, receiving that money. Do you have any questions?
Is your professional recommendation that we approve this?
Yes, yes, my professional.
In your portfolio again, Commissioner Froer, with comments or questions?
Well, just, I think we had this discussion last year, and remember during the high water flooding we had last year, we had some concerns about this dam and the safety of it. And as we've seen in other areas of the state just recently, it's very important we keep dams available and in good working order to protect the public. So using NRCS funds for this, for the study, I think is a good use of these funds and helps us ensure the safety of the public that it be impacted, especially along the North Fork River. So
Absolutely.
I think, and again, I want to give a shout out to Ashley and his crew that taken the time to get this in place with NRCS, so it doesn't fall entirely on the Weber County or other people.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Bolos, comments, questions?
No.
Commissioner Froer, I'll look to you for a motion.
So I'd move to approve the contract by between Weber County and the U.S. Department of Agricultural, NRCS, to accept additional funds from the NRCS to fund the rehabilitation plan or the study for the Utah Dam, as presented by Mr. Ashley Tolman this morning.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. I'll place that for vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Now, moving on to item number 9.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Commissioner.
Mr. Tolman. Item number 9 is a request for approval of an interlocal agreement by and between Weber County and Weber Morgan Health Department for Healthy Homes HUD grant. Our director, Brian Cowan, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate your work over at the Weber Morgan Health Department. Brian, thank you so much.
Thanks, Commissioner, and thanks for the spot on the agenda today. We're excited over at the Health Department. We've been awarded a $2 million grant from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, titled the Healthy Homes Production Grant. And what this grant does is gives us $2 million between now and October of 2027 for us to distribute out into the community to low-income housing that qualifies for the grant, for reduction of living hazards in those homes. And those living hazards may be high lead levels from lead-based paint, issues related to radon or mold, or just proper ventilation and heating and air conditioning in the homes. The qualifying for the grant, people need to be below 80% of the median income in our area, and it applies to families, low-income families with children. Applies to elderly households that meet the income qualifications, 62 and older. And it also has provisions for landlords that rent to low-income individuals to qualify for this grant, with some agreements to maintain rent levels for 3 years following the work in these homes. It's a collaborative effort. The Health Department's done the majority of the work. We've been working with Ogden City in this effort, and now approaching the county to enter into this interlocal agreement to allow the Health Department to use the county's land use authority in environmental assessment activities on properties that are presented for us to consider for funding from this grant. And that's our request today.
Thank you so much, Mr. Cowan. Commissioner Bolos, you sit on that Weber Morgan Health Department board, and this would be in your portfolio. What do you have to say about that?
I just appreciate the presentation. It's a great opportunity for us to accept the money to be able to help those individuals in those housing projects. So with that, I'll make a motion to approve the interlocal agreement by and between Weber County and Weber Morgan Health Department for Healthy Homes HUD grant.
We have a motion.
And I'll second that with a quick question, if I might,
Please,
Mr. Chair.
please.
So this would apply to basically any city would have the access to these funds in Weber County, not just unincorporated, is that correct?
Correct. That's why we applied for the grant with the Health Department, so that we could branch out to any qualifying residents within Weber County.
So I really, I support this. I mean, we look right at Ogden City, there's a number of homes, and we realize because of the aging condition that this could very well help a number of people. So I'm happy to second that.
Great. We do have a motion and a second for this program. I'll place that motion for vote. All in favor?
Aye.
My motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Callen.
Thank you,
Our best to
Commissioners.
you and your staff. You do a wonderful job in serving us. Item number H, like hotel, is the commissioner comments. Commissioner Bolos.
May I? I just want to add one thing to Commissioner Froer's thought of the day, and that is how much I enjoyed being at both of those venues. My favorite thing about Snow Basin was watching those individuals from the IOC take pictures. They were awestruck. Most of my photos are of them taking photos because it was just so fun to watch them and how beautiful they saw that valley that we have, and just to watch them appreciate that was really cool.
Wonderful. Commissioner Floor.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that. As I mentioned up there, our area is no longer the best-kept secret. Hasn't been for a few years. Remember when the Snow Basin used to be referred to as the Utah's best-kept secret? Well, no longer a secret.
No.
And it's soon to be discovered by a lot more people from outside the state and the country,
Yep.
which we should be excited about it, and I think that as we welcome those people in, we'll be very blessed for it.
I know my father was skiing in that Snow Basin in the, it seems like the late 40s, early 50s. When it was, the skis had wood edges on them, and you cabled in, I think is what it was.
Bear trap bindings, they call them.
Bear trap bindings, yeah.
What was in there, you were trapped.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, that's it for me.
Great. Well, super. That's, that facility up there, and our compliments also to Davey Ratchford and his crew up there at Snow Basin, who do a wonderful job maintaining such a phenomenal asset. You know, we have international visitors who see some of the most breathtaking places across the world, yet when they come to our place and they're just awestruck. Really says something. Sometimes we take for granted what we enjoy so frequently, so readily. You know,
And I think we gave a shout out to Earl Holding, because the Holding family really deserves the credit for making the change to make that mountain what it could be.
Yep.
You know, and I truly believe that it wouldn't happen without the Holding family and their major investment. You know, I don't know how many millions of dollars, but Earl saw the potential for that, and he put his money where his mouth was. And we're now the benefactors of that. Most of us would agree it's been a major upgrade. And just visiting that facility today would not be what it is without the Holding family and the continued investment of the Holding family up there. So.
Absolutely, without question. They've been very, very generous with a lot of things. Especially countless things behind the scenes. So wonderful stories regarding them. Well, Commissioners, I think a well-spent time today. I might entertain a motion for item I.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
My motion carries. We're adjourned.